The cost to attend a live concert has been rising sharply over the past decade or so. I'm going to take a deep look into what has happened to concert ticket prices, why they've increased, and what it means for fans, artists, and the live music industry. Coming up next on Music Meanderings. You know, I was led to do this topic after the recent sticker shock that many Rush concert fans went through after the announcement of their comeback 50-something tour. Now, in fairness, the band has not been on the road since 2015. Many things have changed across the concert landscape in that time, but the going price for so-called nosebleed seats, that's up in the rafters, the higher level seats, many times at the back of the arena. The average price for those on the Rush tour is $320 plus fees. Yes, that's for one ticket. Now, that was a shock to many fans since their tickets used to be priced much less. But again, that was 10 years ago. So to put kind of things into perspective, my rock concert days started back in 1977. I got to see Kansas with supporting act Nazareth. It was their Point of No Return tour in a basketball arena. That was followed up by Boston touring on their second album, Don't Look Back, in 1978. And hundreds of concerts since then, primarily in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s as lifestyle changes dictated. But back then, the average price for a ticket was somewhere between $7 and $12, with very little difference, really, between the premium ticket price and the price for cheaper seats. Now, before internet or even order by phone, it was a matter of getting to the ticket office on the first day those tickets went on sale and standing in long lines, which necessitated getting time off work, having a friend that would go up there, or maybe even paying somebody to stand in line for you to get the tickets. Now, for some of the really popular acts, tickets would be available by mail-in order only. And then they would use a lottery system to determine who would get the seats due to the high demand. I remember shows by Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith using that system for concerts back in the late 70s. Now, ticket prices for the major tours and big-name acts have climbed significantly over the years, with a really marked increase that started around 2019. In fact, a recent article in Reuters reported that the average ticket price for top U.S. tours in 2023 was an average of $122 a ticket. One survey of music fans in 2025 showed that 36% expect to spend between $100 and $499 on concert tickets, and 17% of those surveyed said they would spend up to $1,000. Now, when you get down to it, there is no single cause for rising concert ticket prices, but a combination of industry dynamics, economics like inflation, and changes in behavior. One of those things is rising production and tour cost. Now, modern live shows are a lot more than just plugging a guitar into an amp. It's a complex operation these days with massive lighting rigs, video walls, pyrotechnics, trucks for transport, large crews, elaborate sets, and somebody to set that up and tear it down from city to city. Now, when artists and promoters face higher costs, guess what? That's reflected in the higher ticket prices. And here's a biggie. Shift in artist revenue streams. Used to be a big portion of a musician's income would come from selling records or CDs. But once streaming started, that all changed. With streaming replacing those earlier models of record and CD sales, artists earn far less per play. As a result, touring and merch, that's why you pay $50 for a t-shirt, It's become one of the main revenue sources for many major acts. Now, to make a tour profitable, worthwhile, artists and promoters may price tickets higher. It's a bigger part of their income now. And now that music sales has dwindled, the logic, supply and demand. If you can fill the big venues and there is demand for that, then you can ask more for tickets. Now, one of the biggest changes also is dynamic pricing. You might have noticed that if you booked a air flight or perhaps a hotel room. In fact, we just went through this when we were recently on our vacation. We stayed at a really nice hotel and paid a fraction of what we would have paid during their on-season or on a weekend. It's all about the demand. It's called dynamic pricing, where prices will fluctuate based on that demand. Like a very hot show by superstar act, a Taylor Swift or something, they may initially list those face value seats, but as demand surges, those prices could go up. Dynamic pricing, it's called, and it means that the average fan see higher price tags even for the standard seats in many cases. And if you've gone to a show anytime in the recent past, you know the ticket price is just part of the price, right? The fees, one concert I went to, the fees for the tickets were half again the price of the tickets. The base ticket price is just that. It's the base price, kind of like buying a car. You got the base price, and you got all the add-ons. Service fees, processing fees, facility fees, delivery fees. For example, one estimate in a report recently said an average of 27 to 30% is added to ticket prices in the U.S. On top of that, add what they call scalpers or bots these days, and that further inflates the ticket prices. When tickets sell out quickly, resellers list the remaining tickets marked up way beyond their face value. And finally, still remnants of the COVID-19 pandemic shut down live shows for the better part of a year. So when concerts returned, of course, fans were really itching to get back to see a live show. And that pent-up demand caused many shows to sell out quickly than they normally would have, which ultimately translated into, of course, higher ticket prices. In short, more fans chasing fewer shows plus higher operating costs equals higher prices. So the obvious question, where does it all end? Now, there are several developments that could affect ticket pricing in the future, the main one being consumer tolerance. Again, it gets back to supply and demand. How much are fans willing to pay for that experience? A recent survey showed that consumers are willing to pay more for a experience than for physical goods. That's interesting. So if that trend holds, prices could remain elevated. But regulation and antitrust suits are going on. In the U.S., the Justice Department has sued major ticket platforms like Live Nation and Ticketmaster, alleging that they've created a monopoly that contributes to the higher ticket prices. In other words, they can charge whatever they want. So legal pressure may force greater transparency, competition, or maybe even price caps in the future. And we mentioned bots. That's, the automated ticket scalpers. Laws like the Better Online Ticket Sales Act, BOTS Act, aims to reduce that, the bulk ticket buying by bots and unfair resale practices. Now, if more effective, it could reduce secondary market inflation, keep primary market ticket prices a little more controlled. And some artists could even choose simpler production. Some have tried smaller venues or transparent pricing to retain fan goodwill. I remember during a recent 21 Pilots concert tour, they did their best to kind of try to take out the bots, but it wasn't really very successful. Not all shows are affected equally, though. Smaller markets or local venues still offer more affordable tickets. Major arena stadium tours, of course, you're going to pay more for that. But I just bought tickets for a Stray Cats concert at a mid-sized venue for less than $40 total per ticket during a special sale. So there are some deals still out there. But again, that's Stray Cats. They were popular 40 years ago, right? So if you are looking for prices like that for a newer act in a larger venue, you're probably not going to see that. As scrutiny increases, ticketing platforms could be required to show all-in pricing with the fees up front. In fact, they have already started doing that in my area, I am happy to say. So when you look at the ticket price in my area, you do see what they're charging, including the fees. So will the ticket prices go up indefinitely? Experts say that's unlikely because there could be consumer pushback for greater transparency and, again, supply and demand. That will determine how high a ticket price the market will support. Because with the advent of smartphones now and YouTube, it's possible to see most of these concerts in their entirety almost immediately on video, like the day after in some cases. Now, granted, sometimes the audio and video quality is not the greatest. It's not the same experience as actually being there, but many are willing to trade in that uber expensive concert experience for a free video they can view from their couch. That's where I'm at primarily these days, just watching them on YouTube. I will not pay $320 in most cases for nosebleed upper level seating to see anybody. I can honestly say there is no one I would pay that much to see live. Paul McCartney and his recent tour for those same seats is charging $600 and up. But everyone has their own limitations. That's entirely up to each individual. I have spoke with people on my YouTube channel that say, hey, they've never seen Rush before, so they will pay those prices just for that opportunity. Now, I have been able to see them before, and I don't think they're going to be able to top the performances I saw by them back in the late 70s and 80s, so I'm very fortunate in that regard. Now, a study found that from 1996 to now, the average ticket price of the top tours rose from an average of $25.81 a ticket to $136.46, more than a 428% increase, while inflation was much less over that period. In effect, ticket price growth has outpaced general inflation a lot, meaning fans are willing to pay more in real terms even after you account for inflation. If you're planning on buying tickets for major artists over large venues, average in the U.S. between $120 and $150 per ticket before factoring in fees. For smaller venues or less high-demand acts, you can find tickets below average, $100 or less, like I just gave you that example. Now, additional fees often add 20 to 30% or more to that final cost. So in summary, concert ticket prices have risen significantly. That's not a surprise to anybody for good reasons in many cases: higher cost of production and touring, changes in artist revenue streams, stronger demand, dynamic pricing, fees, and more reasons. But for fans, the result is often a sense of paying more than I used to, and in some cases paying too much. There are still deals out there, just need to be patient and look for them. So how much would you pay to see your favorite artist in concert? And who do you think is primarily responsible for the rising cost of tickets? Go ahead and comment below. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you'll be notified of upcoming videos, and tune in for more music meanderings.